The Enlightened Triple Constraints. It's founded on your relationships with your stakeholders, being able to talk with them candidly and have them respond based on a level of trust with what exactly their expectations are, because that tells you how you need to manage risk. And this video is an introduction to the Enlightened Triple Constraints take on risk management. Risk management is probably one of my favorite areas of project management. That might surprise you because I focus so much on what the people in the team mean and what your leadership competencies are that having risk management as a favorite sometimes causes people to take another look. But here's the thing. Whether you're beginning in project management or experienced, most of us have found that there's always just a little bit of room for improvement when it comes to how we manage risk. You see, in the Enlightened Triple Constraints, how we manage risk is based on what our stakeholders have told us matter to them, which means that we're able to focus on their priorities when we start looking at identifying risks and prioritizing risks. That doesn't mean that we ignore the risks that could impede or be wonderful opportunities that are not on the list of things that they most care about. It just means that we have clarity about what might or might not go on the risk watch list as opposed to in a list or those kinds of risks that we're tracking on a risk burn down chart. Remember, it's their project. We're executing it for them. Now, that doesn't mean that if your experience and your expertise tells you that there is a threat risk with a really high potential of creating trouble, creating damage, but it's not one of their top concern areas. Yeah, that's okay. Obviously, part of your role in helping your team to manage this project includes bringing up things like that one yucky, horrible, hairy, messy potential event. Because remember, risk management is founded on the definition of risk, which is it is an uncertain event, which if it happens, could affect the project, either for ill or for good. Uncertain. I think a key point about uncertainty is this. It means we don't know for sure. And if you've got an 85% probability assigned to something, well, I think you can rest pretty assured that you think it's going to happen. The level of uncertainty at that point is pretty tiny. You also want to make sure that you've enrolled everybody on the team into the entire exercise of ongoing risk identification. Absolutely, you want to have it on the agenda every once in a while for a meeting, but that might not be convenient for when somebody gets one of those aha moments that tells them, oh, wait a minute, that could be an indicator for, ooh, not good. Great. But as long as you've enrolled them, enlisted them, coaxed them into really being aware of identifying risk on an ongoing basis, that's great. Doesn't mean we're not going to still have it every now and again on the meeting agenda. It just means that we get the benefit of more eyes because our entire team is going to be looking for the potential for a risk event that maybe we just didn't see before. risks have their own life cycles. Some risks don't even come to mind or sit at the boundaries and edges of our awareness until the project's reached a certain point in its life cycle. That's okay. But that's also why we want to make sure that everybody is looking out for potential events on an ongoing basis. Also, let's face it, just as we mentioned in change management, things are happening all the time. And as circumstances change, that means that the landscape and the environment of your project also changes, which means there could be additional risk. Okay? So a couple of things. One, listen very, very closely to your stakeholders, because as you build trust with them and they discuss their expectations, that gives you a much firmer sense of what you need to do in terms of prioritizing your risk management. Two, validate it with them. Make sure that you haven't misunderstood it. Three, do not let their priorities be the only guidance for the kinds of things that you want to talk to them about. Remember, your experience, your expertise, and your stewardship of this project team make it important that sometimes you're just going to have to talk to them about something that might not be on their list of priorities. But if it does happen, you're going to need their support to address it because the impact could be huge. We'll be talking a little bit more about how risk management and your senior leadership conversations are important. But for now, we're going to leave you with those three suggestions. I'm KimiKSP, and this video was brought to you by Leadership Driven Project Management Academy, and we're delighted that you joined us. If you think that this is helpful, you could subscribe or like or both. And if you think that somebody would benefit from hearing these suggestions and this perspective, well then, please feel free to forward it to them. We're delighted that you joined us and we would love to have them join us. Thanks very much.